Hi, you guys. Welcome to a new episode of Unreserved con Shay and...
What?
Oh, you're unreserved. Can y'all tell how long of a day it's been? And it's only 2. Welcome to Too Much with Shay.
And Becca, y'all, I know I have like muggy brain today.
Girl, it's been a day. It's been a day. Oh my God. If you don't know, Rebecca and I have started and done podcasts, like 30 of them. So for a quick second, I forgot which venture we were on, but we are here with Too Much with Shay and Becca. Thank you for choosing us.
I needed that laugh, Shayla. Thank you.
Oh, girl. So if you're new here, welcome. We appreciate your support. Thank you to our new subscribers. We really, really appreciate you guys. And yeah, we hope you enjoyed this week's episode. We have a lot in store, but as we always do, let's start the episode with our minute weekly rundown. What's happening? Tell us, Becca, what's happening in your week? What happened?
First off, Shayla has never called me Becca. That is so cute.
I was trying to make up for introducing us to the wrong podcast. That's the least I can do.
Oh, hearts. You know, as you can tell, your girl is a little congested. I got sick. They got me. Like, they got me. And, you know, I've been trying really hard this year to not get sick because Shayla will tell you last
year. She's talking about this year. It's only 2 weeks into the new year.
I'm trying to start off the year right, okay? Last year, Shayla will tell you I was sick like 8 times last year. It was ridiculous. Like, every time Shayla called me, I'm like, girl, I'm in bed.
The orange is not working for you, sis. You need
to. Oh my God. Listen, I got my handy dandy Haitian herb tea right here. So if you see me drinking that is what it's in it. Okay. But I also wanted to talk about how remember how I told you I got my speeding ticket?
Yes.
So I finally paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I really do not appreciate when I pay for it, it makes you check off a box like that you hereby agree that you are guilty.
Yeah, you're guilty.
I'm not saying I'm guilty. I just don't want to go to court. Like,
you are. That comes with the territory.
I was so upset. I was like, first of all, the fact that y'all just making me sign this, like, can't I just check part? Like, yes, I'm aware I got a ticket and I'm paying the ticket. No. Why I have to be guilty or not guilty? Like, I'm not a criminal.
They want the record to show that they are right and you're wrong.
And you know what's crazy? I'm like, you know what? Don't let me catch you in the streets.
Girl, you better say, they are saying that to you. Don't let me catch you speeding again.
Okay, don't let me catch them in the street. Okay, have them singing my Shayla. My Shayla.
Girl, I told Rebecca she needs to use that sound for me before. One time for the one time.
Girl, that's if we get
we'll get into that in a hot minute.
Talk about
for my week, I don't know if you guys have realized, but I've been dealing with some acne for me and my skin. For some, it might be like, girl, what are you talking about? But everyone's acne level is different. For me, this feels like a lot. So anyways, I started to use aloe vera overnight to help with, like, you know, the dark spots. And it has been working. When I put it on, it feels like I have like a skin tightening thing. Once it dries up, I'm like, girl, is this Botox, natural Botox? Yeah. So that's been really helpful. So if you're struggling with any dark spots, I think you should buy yourself is it called a leaf? I guess a plant.
Yeah, it's a plant. I go to the farmer's market for mine. But
yeah, and I just, you know, cut a piece out every night and I put it on my skin.
It's just, don't you notice when you rubbing it on your face, that thing it's
very slimy.
Girl, it take the grip of God to keep it in your hand. Like, girl,
but aloe vera is super, super good for my hair as well because of that like slippery vibe, because I have very dry hair. But we're not gonna talk about that because I could talk about curly hair products all day long. You
I
want to
just
say
also
something?
wanted to say real quick, right? So like Shayla and I had did like an episode a few, like I want to say weeks ago, where we talked about like medicine and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
I was telling Shayla yesterday, I took a sip of Dayquil and I was knocked out. At first I was stunned. I was like, I woke up, it was dark because you know it get dark by 4:30. I
Yeah.
thought it was like 9 p.m. when I woke up. I got scared.
I'm telling you, we talked about it in one of our episodes that medicine sleep hit like no other.
No, for real. And I've been taking antibiotics and like I was telling Shayla yesterday, I was like, girl, I was concerned. I thought my pH balance was like at a -50. Like the smell you get when you pee is concerning.
Yeah, yeah. Life things. The other point I want to make is you guys know I'm in my sports era. So the Australian Open is happening right now.
You're
Uh
talking about tennis?
yes. So now all of a mí es con lo que me coja. It's like sometimes I
Oh,
pick up some things and whenever I decide that I'm into whatever it is that it may be, sometimes I'm in my cooking era, sports era. I'm like, I want to know all about it. So, anyways, I've been watching the Australian Open
mhm.
and I felt so bad for Osaka. If you don't know, she's like, one of the star players,
Isn't
but
her first name like Naomi or something?
Naomi Osaka,
Yeah.
yeah. She was actually like doing good in this tournament because ever since she gave birth to her daughter, she's been struggling to get her body back to the way it was. And
Right.
so in a lot of her other tournaments, she had to like essentially not quit, but kind of like wave the towel because of like injuries. And then today, or was it last night, one of the tournaments, she had to do that, like kind of wave the towel because she has some sort of like abdomen pain. But if you've never played tennis, it is a very hard sport. Like, first of all, they be running left, right, and unlike group sports where if you have a bad shot, you got someone else to rebound for you. Baby, when it's a sport and it's just you in that tennis racket, that's hard. So, anyways, I'm
One thing about Shayla, she gonna get into the most like I'm not saying tennis is random, but like Shayla goes through these like she mentioned those random
phases.
spurts, and
Yes.
like I'll call her, she'll be like, "Yeah, I'm watching the
The
special
dog thing
Special
was
Olympics." She was watching dogs. Like I'm
yes.
like,
Because you know why? Because I'm always into learning new things. Like I love
mhm,
that. But I don't have cable. So sometimes I just put on the ESPN app, thanks to my friend Rebecca. Keep friends that have, that are wealthy around you.
girl, what?
Obviously, I'm kidding. Don't take it serious because you know how some people be.
Girl.
But anyway, so I just put on the app and they just be playing these things. So I press it, and then if I'm interested, I'm all in. The last two things I want to mention is Unrivaled starts today. So I'm super excited. If you're watching this on a Friday or after January 17th, you can watch the new 3v3 women's league on TNT. Super excited for that. I'm trying to get Bad Bunny tickets. And it's just so hard to get tickets to concerts. I'm so over it at this
But
point.
I was
Like
telling Shayla, I was like, because he recently did like a little thingy thing in like
the
in New
streets.
York in the like the subway station or whatever, where he
Mhm.
had like a little concert. And I was like, Shayla, look, and Shayla's like, the one day I don't go to the city. I'm like, that girl, I'm sorry. But I was saying, like, now that he's in Puerto Rico, like Shayla was telling me, like, he randomly did like a concert on like they closed
Mhm.
out one of the streets and like he started performing and stuff. I'm like, he was going all in and like this I love my country and not only have love for my country vibe. And I'm here for it because baby,
Yeah. I love that for him and I love that for the island and the people and all the money that he's about to bring to the island.
yes.
I hope it lands in the right hands so we can,
And
end up
that's
seeing the
like
results.
and that's how you use your platform. When you see that
Yes.
you have like a certain following and you see how much you are popular and how much people are willing to spend to see you, if
Mhm.
you see that like your platform could help benefit, like in this case, a whole country, it's
Yeah.
like, why not do that? So go ahead.
Period. We're rooting for you. I also, before I wrap up my minute rundown, I want to give a shout out to Rotisserie Chicken. When you are in a like quick running today, as you can tell from the start of this video, I've been on 10. Washing my hair requires a lot of time. And today I had to wash my hair and also work and do this. So I was rushing. And one thing about me, I can't function when I'm hungry. I don't know about y'all. Some people don't eat their first meal until like 3, 4, 5 p.m. Baby, this fatty could never.
Shayla throwing shots. Shayla throwing shots. Shayla be getting on me.
No, but listen, to each their own. But I had forgotten that I had bought this rotisserie chicken from Costco. And so when I opened the fridge and I saw it was there, it just came in so clutch. So shout out to rotisserie chicken and leftovers. I also had some leftover rice and I just heated that up real quick. Boom, boom, boom. A
I
meal.
was dogging that thing.
And was. Anyways, let's start off with our topics. Rebecca,
Yes.
what's happening?
Yes. So as we talked about last week, we talked about this potential TikTok ban. And we were saying, like, what this will mean, if it'll actually happen. Well, so today the Supreme Court upheld the TikTok ban, but let us mention Biden's, before he leaves office, which will be Monday, right? He said that he's not going to enforce this law, that he's going to leave it all on the Trump administration. And if they will, they will. If they won't, they won't. Trump has said in the past that he will not get rid of TikTok. But Trump also, before he had this change of heart, wanted TikTok gone. So who knows what's going to happen? Personally, for me, I have been enjoying, as much as I love TikTok, and I'm not going to lie to you, on Monday, if I wake up and TikTok is actually banned, I'm going to crash out, but that's another story for another day. I have been loving seeing the funerals. The TikTok funeral, people are bringing back the old sounds that we heard. Like, my algorithm has been algorithming, okay? Yeah. And now everybody's going to this other app called Red Note, and it's basically like a Chinese Instagram type of vibe kind of thing. And first of all, y'all is acting out on there, okay? Y'all is acting out. One dude already got banned because somebody called him a monkey, so he called another dude a chopstick. Like,
oh my God. This is why you can't take us anywhere. This is why people hate Americans.
Yeah, but it's so funny because the way, like, people are actually trying to learn Mandarin and stuff now. And, like, just seeing all these different, like, TikTok trends of people going on to Red Note. And it kind of just made me think, right? Seeing how people, now that, this TikTok ban has been upheld, if it does go into effect, seeing how people have gravitated to Red Note, it shows me that, like, what the government is so concerned about for us is not the concern of everybody else. So everybody's going to this Chinese app where the info that the government doesn't want TikTok to have, they're going to Red Note. So it's like that same info is just going to go to a different app. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing of like when you tell kids not to do something, they always find a way to do it. It's just like, I do want to mention my whole thing with this, it's either shut down the app or shut up about it. Like, I feel like we've been talking about a TikTok ban for what feels like 90 years. I have this personality trait where I hate when people repeat the same thing over and over and over again. If you tell me, Shayla, on Friday, we're shutting down Dollar Tree, I expect Dollar Tree to be shut down on Friday. This coming back and forth and this and that. I also want to mention the fact that Congress passed this ban, right? Mm-hmm. Biden signed the legislation. And now all of a sudden on his way out, he's like, oh, well, I'm not enforcing it. It's up to the next administration. It's like, well, no, if you really felt like, if you didn't feel like the app had to be banned, then why in the world would you sign the legislation to do so? Because now it has turned into a political thing, right? Donald Trump had once upon a time said he wanted to ban TikTok, but now he's BFFs with the TikTok CEO and other tech billionaires, which we will discuss. And now all of a sudden he's like, oh no, we're not going to ban the app. And I do want to mention Trump has responded to the Supreme Court's decision. And he said the Supreme Court decision was expected and everyone must respect it. My decision on TikTok will be made in the not too distant future, but I must have time to review the situation. Stay tuned. And this is what the TikTok CEO had to say. He posted this video not too long ago. Let's take a listen.
Hi everyone, it's Show here. As you know, we have been fighting to protect the constitutional right to free speech for the more than 170 million Americans who use our platform every day to connect, create, discover, and achieve their dreams. On behalf of everyone at TikTok and all our users across the country, I want to thank President Trump for his commitment to work with us to find a solution that keeps TikTok available in the United States. This is a strong stand for the First Amendment and against arbitrary censorship. As we've said, TikTok is a place where people can create communities, discover new interests, and express themselves, including over 7 million American businesses who earn a living and gain new customers using our platform. We are grateful and pleased to have the support of a president who truly understands our platform, one who has used TikTok to express his own thoughts and perspectives, connecting with the world and generating more than 60 billion views of his content in the process. To all American users, thank you for making our TikTok community such a rich and vibrant space, for surprising and delighting us every day. Rest assured, we will do everything in our power to ensure our platform thrives as your online home for limitless creativity and discovery, as well as a source of inspiration and joy for years to come. Thank you. More to come.
Oh, he deriding hard. He said, Trump.
I'm so glad we finally had this and that. I'm like, well, this is my thing. And I think we had this as like a separate topic, but I think it's correlated to this issue. The way that these tech billionaires are deriding, like Rebecca's saying, Trump is actually scary. Like, it makes me, at some point, like, do you realize how much power you have? I want to show up this graphic of the 6 billionaires that will be joining Donald Trump swearing on Monday, right? Because on Monday, that's it. Trump is our president. Well, you know how some people are like, that's not my president. But I live in reality, and the reality is that he is going to be the president of the United States of America. But let me show you. This is the graphic. So you have, this is the tech bros attending Trump's swearing ceremony. You have Elon Musk, who is the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX. You have Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon. You have Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of Meta, which includes Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp. You also have under here, who we just discussed, the TikTok CEO, Google CEO, OpenAI CEO. All of these men will be front and center for the swearing of Donald Trump on Monday. And I am just like, it's like whatever he wants, they're going to do. And I think it is kind of scary when we kind of discussed this with the whole Bad Bunny thing. When people don't realize the power that they have and use it for good. Again, I guess we all have different outlooks of what is good and what is bad. And for them, maybe they believe everything that Trump is doing is the best way. But it's just very hard for me to always say, you know, like, hey, Trump is doing this. Trump did this. He's a bad person. But then you have all these billionaires literally just getting in line and doing whatever he wants. It's actually kind of scary in a sense, because if this is these people that have power, what can we do? Like, I'm just little O'Shea, honey. You can't fight. Like, I don't know. Just what I'm saying. I don't even know.
So I have a few things I want to talk about. So I want to touch on the first point where you talked about how, like, basically, why would Biden sign this legislation? And then the moment he's about to leave, it's like, oh, well, I'm going to just let the next administration do it. I think, from like my way of thinking, is that like he basically wants to end this term on like a good note. Like, you just got this ceasefire that happened in Gaza between Israel and Palestine. So like you like, I guess he's trying to end it on a good note, I guess. Like,
there is no good note.
I get that. But it's just like, finish what you started. Something to me, and then the moment the time comes, you talk about, well, I don't know, I'm gonna just let the next person deal with it, even though I introduced it, even though I put this out there, like this, that, and the third, right? And I just think it's all a waste of time, because if ultimately this ban and this conversation about the ban basically happened for no reason, it's like, why would you because like, I'm not an influencer, but I know there are a lot of people on TikTok who are influencers, and that is their main source of income. Do I think that social media should always be your only source of income? No. But it's like now you're affecting a livelihood of a whole group of people who made like a platform for themselves, right? And if you have a sustainable platform, obviously you can transcend to different apps and stuff like that, and your fan base will follow. But if you only had that TikTok as your source of income, now you're just screwing over a whole group of people, right? And I also want to talk about, you mentioned all these tech people like basically donating to the inauguration, and then them all showing face and like basically in support of Trump. When Shayla and I talked about this yesterday, I said to her, I was like, all these people are deriding Trump for the simple fact, if someone has shown you time and time again nothing will happen to them, at one point you like, maybe I should side with them. Trump has, even though he got a mugshot, even though he's been indicted, even though he literally nothing is stopping that man from doing anything. Right. And it's like, at one point, as much as I don't like the man, I can't sit there and lie and say, like, baby, he's using his privilege to the fullest extent. Like, he's using every ounce of that privilege.
And it's so frustrating because you know how I am. I always try to see the good in people, but it's very hard for me to keep pressing and harping on the issue when even these politicians, like I think at some point Democrats need to understand that you cannot keep playing by the rules, because clearly Donald Trump is not playing by the rules and he continues to get away with it. Like, it's actually astonishing. And I 1,000% agree with you with this notion that, like, they see, well, Trump did all these things during his 4 years in office and he got away with all of them. He ain't pay a fine of this. I mean, I guess, yes, in some legal battles he did have to pay and whatever. But the fact that he was still able to run and is president now, say whatever you want. But one thing about Trump, he gonna do it. Whether he gotta break the rules or not, baby, he gonna do it. And
Okay.
honest about it. We do. And then another point with the TikTok thing is, like, you know how much time they spent or wasted in Congress debating this whole issue, bringing in witnesses and this, that, and the third, to now do nothing with it. Like, it's I can't
I
even.
mean, it's like it kind of goes to the same point for me, is like, I understand that these people are like, oh, like TikTok is like affecting the minds of people, it's taking our information. But it's like, the amount of people who are upset about that is like, you got to kind of look into that. And it's like, if you are so upset that TikTok is doing this, TikTok is taking this from us, like, find a way to use that if you're so concerned about it. Do you know what I mean?
Like, to use it to your advantage. I just think I understand what you mean, but I think this whole notion of like they're stealing our information and it is a national security threat. I'm just like, well, if people, that's the same thing when you sign the
Terms and
terms and conditions when you get into app. Everybody know this now. We all know that they are stealing our information and that it might be a risk. And if people are still willingly accepting the terms and conditions, then so be it. I do want to mention before we wrap this up that according to Politico, TikTok is spending $50,000 on an inauguration party honoring influencers who helped Donald Trump spread his campaign messages. So it's like these billionaires, maybe not only are they donating to the campaign, they are like, we're throwing a party in your honor. Thank God that you're in office now. So just buckle up, because these next 4 years, it's like, not only is Trump the president, it feels like he has the ears of all of these very important things. Like the fact that the open AI CEO is going to be present. We've discussed how scary AI is and all of these things. Like, you have Google CEO, TikTok CEO. Like, I don't know.
And
It's
I
crazy.
just, so like, I just want to, I guess, add on to the fact that, like, yes, all these like billionaires and everybody is like basically coming to like, Trump, we're in support of you. Don't you see? Like, da da da. It's because I feel like, as much as Trump gets away with things, he's also very impulsive. And if he sees that you are against him in any type of way, he's not going to give you the benefits. He's not going to give you the privileges that he's going to give to somebody else. I mean, look at Elon Musk. Elon Musk basically is the vice president.
Girl, the first time I'm gonna see JD Vance after he won is now in the inauguration. I ain't seen that man. I don't know where honestly, Elon Musk should be on inside for the swearing ceremony.
Yeah.
To hold the Bible. He a part of the team.
And it's like Trump is the type of person you gotta feed his ego. You gotta stroke his ego. You gotta basically build him up and build him up and build him up. And the more you build him up, the higher you look in his eyes. So it's like TikTok doesn't want to go away. So what are they gonna do? Oh, we're going to help support you. And not only are we going to help support you, we're also going to help the people who help support you as well. It's like, what's the best way to feed somebody who's a narcissist? What's the best way to feed somebody whose ego is all the way up here? How do you feed somebody who thinks they got the biggest cojones in the world? You stroke their ego.
Yeah. I just hope that Democrats or just the opposition party leaders in Congress and everywhere understand that you cannot, I'm not saying we break the rules and act crazy, but at some point you need to figure out that the method that you've been using is not working and the people not trying to hear none of that. So you need to switch gears, boom, 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 hit reverse instead of drive because something is not working.
And I also just want to mention real quick, just last point. I do not like that the inauguration is going to happen on MLK Day. I really don't like that.
Well, Bernice King says that we should use that as some inspiration. Bernice King is like his daughter, I believe. And she actually says something that was very like
profound,
motivational, of course, as you can expect, because she is who she is. But I'm just like, girl, I don't know. I'm just
gonna find it. Are you gonna
No, I have it. I have it here. I'm trying to find it. I took a screenshot of it. She said, change does not roll in on the wheels of inevitability, but comes through continuous struggle. And so we must straighten our backs and work for our freedom. A man can't ride you unless your back is bent.
Ooh, wait.
As we honor my parents' legacy, let us recommit to the ongoing struggle for freedom, justice, and equality. Together, we can build the beloved community where peace and dignity prevails.
Oh,
she is saying, like, we got to keep going, but it is kind of like discouraging when you don't see any movement, any change, but we got to keep fighting, I guess.
My takeaway from that is she basically said you can't get fucked unless you allow somebody to fuck you.
There you go. You interpret it your own way. So on that note, big news this week in terms of daytime talk show. We are, we've kept up with Wendy Williams, right? Like whether you liked her for her crazy remarks, everybody knows Wendy Williams. Her show abruptly ended and everyone was like, oh my God, where is she? What happened? And so after her show was abruptly ended, we saw like glimpses and pieces of her, but then she kind of came back on the scene with her Hulu documentary and everybody was like, oh my God, like she is like, what happened? You know what I'm saying? So this week she went on the Breakfast Club and spoke out against her conservatorship. Is that how you say it? And she also talked about the person who is now essentially like controlling her and telling her what she can and cannot do. So we're going to play a little compilation of what she and her niece had to say when they joined the Breakfast Club. Let's take a listen.
Make her own decisions. She is not cognitively impaired. She is not incapacitated. She is being taken advantage of.
Right.
Wendy, tell us what's going on.
Well, first of all, to start with, my niece Alex knows a lot as well, but I am not cognitively impaired. You know what I'm saying? No, but I feel like I am in prison. You understand what I'm saying? I am exhausted thinking about, what if I can't see my dad for his birthday? At 94, the day after that is not promised. It's not promised. I have things from my dad that's in storage. And there are little things that I say, I'm not going to give it to him, but I'm going to sew them and make them so that they look perfect on me. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I know how to sew. I've known how to sew for years. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, like, I want to give my dad some sort of fragrance. I want to go to Sephora and pick and choose what I might not be.
Yeah.
My life is like fucked up.
Do you think that there'll be some type of retaliation from the Guardian because of maybe this phone call or because of wow.
We've talked about that. My aunt, even with her wanting to come on, we talked about all scenarios. I said, if you do this, You ready for what's on the other side? And as she said, I have to do this. There's nothing else I could do at this point. She's prepared for the fact that her phone might be taken away.
What if they take my phone? I won't be able to talk to anybody.
Yeah. And, you all, what you're hearing now, this is a few-minute clip of what we've been dealing with for the last several months and the last 2-3 years.
Wow.
Like, what the hell?
Like, she can get moved, and we may not even know where she is.
Wow.
That was the reality of where she was during the documentary. We weren't permitted to go see her. So this whole documentary aired. Nobody's able to call her. Nobody's able to see her.
When you saw the documentary, what did you think when you saw the documentary? Because that's what got everybody, at least the general public, concerned. What did you think of that?
Do you know what? What I thought about that was that's something that, well, first of all, I don't want to watch that again until I get to Miami, until I get, my life. Look, I don't care about watching that.
Who's putting out like the rumors? Like, because a couple of months ago we heard, well, Wendy's having this problem and she's incapacitated. Like,
they said she's cognitively impaired because of alcohol. She's incapacitated. She's suffering from dementia.
Obviously, it's not true. So do we know who's sending out those rumors to the press and to the blogs and all that? Do we know? Do we have any ideas?
I mean, allegedly, from what we're able to see, all of this comes from The Guardian.
I wanted to know what you want people who are listening to do. What do you want us to do? Should we tweet? Should we get online? Like, what do you want us to do? Also, Alex, what do you want?
Oh, no. I'm not going to talk about that. Charlemagne, Alex, you talk about that. Go ahead.
Well, we've talked about this, and that is there's the hashtag Free Wendy. There's also a change.org petition as well. And also just making as much noise as possible, potentially, GoFundMe, whatever we have to do to make sure that my aunt is in a place where she is living her life in dignity. The bottom line is my aunt hasn't had, we talked about this yesterday, she hasn't had, from what I understand, a medical evaluation to see if her rights can be restored. And it seems as though that instead of this guardian, Sabrina, working with her, it seems as though she's made it difficult every which way for my aunt to be able to live any sort of healthy, independent life.
Wow.
And, it's almost as if she doesn't want my aunt to show that she's healthy and independent. Because as we know about these guardianships, and as my aunt has said, the system's broken. Because the longer she's under this guardianship, the longer they have the keys to her life, for her personal, her financial, her emotional, everything.
Wendy's attorney, Linda Roliski, I think that's how you pronounce her last name. She made a contribution. This is what I heard. She made a contribution to the judge after she was assigned to your case.
Really?
Isn't that a conflict of interest, Alex?
I would say so. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm paraphrasing here, but your cats chit-chatting my way. And anybody that's a Wendy fan knows how much my aunt loves chit-chatting my way. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I gave those cats away. You don't have them anymore.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and as far as Diddy will go to prison for life, people. You don't know things that I knew about Diddy back in the day. And you want to know what? It's about time, people. It is about time. Diddy done.
Diddy done.
There you have it.
Diddy done. That's what she said. So when Shayla sent me this whole interview thing was gonna happen, I was like, ooh, I wonder what she's gonna say. So I'll give my opinion real quick and then I'll let you go. I think she does sound coherent. I think she does sound clear. Do I think there's something wrong? Yes. But do I feel like she should be under this tight restriction? No. And I don't understand. Like, I get it. It's like, how do you say it again? Conveyorship, conservatorship. Yeah, that thing. Honestly, that's just like a different form of government control that I just don't understand, because it's just like, if you have her family who says that they have her best interest at heart, why would that be so problematic to let her family handle her? I feel like there's other instances that we've seen where we've seen people who have these family members who make it seem like they have the person's best interest at heart and then they don't, but nobody steps in, nobody interferes. But in this case, like, she clearly looks to her family. She started crying about her father, and you basically trying to use it as a bingo card so she could do what you want. I just think the whole situation is very weird. And it's like it was kind of weird for me because like I remember listening to Wendy on the radio, and then seeing her transition into the TV space and seeing her for all these years talk about all these celebrity drama, celebrity gossip, giving us the exclusive on certain stuff. And then to see her in this like type of predicament where like the niece called it a luxury prison, it's like, how does one get from like stardom to here? And it's just like, I just don't understand the downfall, and I just don't understand the idea and what the motive would be like behind keeping her down at that level. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that the downfall and how quick it happened, the way it happened, is very sad because, like I said, feel how you feel. There was those that hated Wendy for how she talked about others. I get it, but I feel like no one deserves to be on this leash in a sense. And it's actually it's so scary to know that a bank can have the power to turn your life into what Wendy's life currently is. Like Wendy Williams, so like the whole issue started with like a bank issue. Like, hey, I want my records. And then supposedly someone was like, oh, when she asked for her records, someone had in her team supposedly had already said that, like, hey, I don't think Wendy is, cognitively all the way there to handle her own things. And so whatever, fast forward, a New York judge or whatever decided that she needed to be under conservatorship, and we landed here. I think according to what I read, she did have her son as like, a power of attorney. So her son would be able to, be the one to have a say in her life. But I guess they couldn't show enough proof to the judge that he was capable enough to be the one to be running her money and her life. So all in all, I do like recommend. I'm not gonna say that I think Wendy is 100%, but again, like decline in your mind is normal when you age. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, some people are good mentally until the day they die, but I feel like small decline in your cognitive state is normal when you age. You know what I'm saying? So for Sabrina, I think that's the name of the person who is in charge of her life, to drop this news that she was like, what it was, like cognitively impaired, like she wasn't able to not move, but like the fact that she was, I forgot the exact wording that the reporting said, the TMZ, but essentially it made it seem like Wendy can't even talk. Like she's done for. So I'm so happy that she is speaking out. And I just feel like there has to be a way for them to reevaluate her. Like her niece is saying that ever since this move was made, they haven't done like a health checkup again on her. And she's saying like, I think they don't want to do it because they do want to keep her under this conservatorship. And I just don't understand it. If you feel like Wendy is not able to make her own decisions, then the least they can do is give the power of attorney or the rights to a family member that is willingly saying like, hey, I can do this. Because one thing I know about Wendy, she's always very open to how she feels. So if she felt like her niece was not taking good care of her, or like didn't have her best interest, then she would not, be on these public platforms now speaking out. She even went on the Don Lemon show on YouTube to, again, talk about the issue. So I hope, and it's also like a weird thing because I feel like Wendy Williams' story is not getting enough hype as the Britney Spears did, because I remember when Britney Spears first spoke out about it, it was like, given, yes, Britney had been under this conservatorship for way longer, but I'm like, damn, Wendy was like an iconic figure, and I hope that people do use the Free Wendy hashtag and it brings noise, because unfortunately we do live in a day and age where like so many things happen at the same time, and if we don't keep the issue on the forefront of people's minds, there won't be no move, no change, no nothing. So I am glad that they are speaking out and they are going on radio and all these other platforms to be like, hey, do you know that this is happening? Because it is actually insane. Like, a bank should not have this much power over you.
Right. And I want to talk about, so I forget, one of the girls on the Breakfast Club, she talked about like going to basically go see Wendy. And when she was basically in the lobby, she talked to the people, said, hey, I'm here to see Wendy. And they're like, okay, let me just check with Sabrina. And like she said, like a few minutes went by, and like out of nowhere, they were like, Wendy doesn't live here. We don't know it's Sabrina. You're gonna have to go. Like, they got very cagey very quickly. And it's just like, if you're going to have that type of control over her, why not allow her to see the people that she wants to see? Then she was also saying how like they give her a phone, but she can call people, but people can't call her. So she always has to be the one to initiate contact. God forbid something happens to her. Who can check in on her? She's also talked about how they give her these pills and she doesn't know what these pills are for. It's just very weird. And to your point about like the Free Britney, we saw how much noise and how much traction people got for Britney. And if any of y'all tell me that Britney is anywhere near normal, she's not, right? But no one should feel like their life is being like controlled. Like everything you do is literally under a microscope. You literally can't do nothing without a yay or a nay. It's like, what happened to free choice? What happened to free will? Like, what happened to that? Like, who are you? You are not Wendy's mother. You are not Wendy's dad. Who are you to think that you could tell her everything that you can and can't do?
Yeah, she also doesn't have access to her like personal phone. So if you know Wendy, you know like her whole thing was keeping up with culture. So I can only imagine like even that in itself can be a factor in your mental decline. If all of a sudden you were so used to this lifestyle and now it's like, well, you can't even just be on your phone scrolling to see, you know, what the latest tea is. Like, she can't just walk around and do, you know, go downstairs. That's essentially why when the Breakfast Club producer was there, she couldn't just like welcome them in. Like, she needs a key to, or it's like such a under a leash situation. And like Rebecca said, I feel like if anything, this is the thing about dementia. I will say it's a very tricky thing. You can be very good today and tomorrow, you know, the things may not look the same. So I do want to say, yes, I am not here saying that like Wendy Williams is 1,000%. Yes, maybe she does wake up some days and she doesn't know things. I'm just saying that her family, if they are willing and able to have or be the ones to have these keys and these powers to manage her life, they should be the ones having a say so. Like, this random woman don't know that she wants Poland spring water.
Just like, giving her any brand. She's like, I don't drink that.
It's so sad. It's so
and like the thing is, like you mentioned, to the whole point of like dementia, like a lot of times, like with people with dementia, they always say they need to have familiar things around them. If you just keep them trapped in a room, and she's talking about all her family, like after she was a Jersey girl, shout out to that point. She was from Asbury Park, moved to Ocean County. Yeah. We love a good Jersey girl. Anyway, she was saying how like her parents had ended up moving to Miami, and basically all her family has slowly migrated to Miami. She's all the way she's in New York right now, right? She's nowhere near her family. People have to travel to see her. Why not put her in a space where she can be with the people that, you know, she's familiar with, the people that she actually wants to talk to? It's just like, her father's 94 years old. You heard when she was crying. She's like, his birthday is coming up and the next day might not be guaranteed for him. And it's just like, how would you feel if somebody kept you away from your parents and you never know when they might take their last breath? That's ridiculous.
And if that's a great point. If your whole thing is like, well, she needs to be under 24/7 surveillance, I'm sure there are rehab facilities in Miami. Like, why does she have to be stuck in New York? I mean, I guess the conservatorship, the whole thing broke out here in New York. But I just feel like if I'm in charge of a stranger, and I guess we all have different hearts, we'll see where this lands. We just hope and pray that, you know, there is a resolution and people are talking about this, because it is actually insane. So now let's move on to.
I just wanted to mention this last thing. It's like, to your point where it's like, if you say that you guys, like, this is the best way for her and the best way for her to have, like, I guess, some type of normalcy, why not actually show that? Like, everything that we're seeing, it just looks so rigid. It looks very much prison like. It looks very controlling, and it looks like y'all are not giving her a say so in anything. So it's like, if your whole thing is we feel like we would have her best interest at heart, why not actually prove that, you know? And that's all I want to say.
So on to our next topic.
Yes. We're going to talk about, so Meg Thee Stallion, she's been popping out with this boy. What's his name? His name is
a Chicago Bull NBA player. We don't even got to give him the clout because it's not really about him.
Right. But so on a podcast that's called 3 Girls, 1 Kitchen, this girl who's allegedly his ex named Oliviadavis they were having a podcast episode and they're basically talking.
You want me to play the clip? I have it if you want me to play it.
Yeah, we can play it.
Okay, so
Oliviadavis is the one in the middle, I just wanted to say.
Okay, so let's just play the clip and we'll react after.
Hear you ladies' craziest dating story that you've experienced over the past 2 years, and also what you learned from it. Because we always have to inspire our audience to grow and learn from our mistakes so they don't have to learn from their own.
Yeah, learn through us. You want to go first?
Yeah. Well, where do I start? Do I start the one where my ex is dating the Megan, was it the Megan Stallion? What's her name?
Meg the Stallion.
Meg the Stallion. Megan. I'm just gonna call her Megan.
Who's
Megan?
Who's Meg?
I don't know. I just get my vowels like always mixed up.
Because she's from Russia.
Like, she's a foreigner.
So I saw this.
Yes.
Me and Eva, we were sitting in bed scrolling on TikTok. And we're scrolling, Meg Thee Stallion pops up with some guy, and Eva's like, isn't that Olivia's ex? And I'm like, oh yeah, his name's Tory, right?
Yep.
Not Tory Lanez, a different Tory.
Yeah, not that one. Just imagine.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I can't even get mad though, because it's like, damn, like, that's kind of a flex, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I can't even be mad at that at all, because like.
I just wonder what his type is, because you guys dated, then he was talking to other girls when he was talking to you, and like they all look
very
like
similar, like
you
we
guys.
All looked,
So I'm just curious what his type is.
What I've learned in my 29 years, men don't have a type. They like whatever they like. It could be a wide range. Like, I truthfully don't know a man that is specifically like on point with what exact type, to be fair.
Honestly, anything goes for some.
It continues, and essentially she's like, oh, well, men's type is pretty girls or something like that.
So after that whole came out, there was a lot of backlash that came out, and everybody was just like basically coming at her because one is giving microaggression. How you mess up Meg Thee Stallion or Megan Thee Stallion, but you could say Tory, you could say all these other names, but whatever, we'll get into that. So later, after this happened, this was like 2 weeks ago or whatever,
it was a long time ago, I fear.
I think it was like I think it was 2 weeks ago. At least that's when I saw it. But the reason why we're talking about it now is because TMZ had basically caught up with her, which looked very staged. They basically caught up with her outside of like a grocery store, and they basically asked her like, you know, how do you feel about all this backlash that you got? And she basically said that, you know, she claimed that the mispronunciation stemmed from English not being her first language. And she labeled it as being a stupid blonde moment. And she also mentioned that she has never been called racist a day in her life. So that was just so shocking and so confusing for her. And then she also made sure to point that her co-host was the person who brought it up, and that she didn't bring it up, mentioning the fact that his type is usually women who are like her. So for him to date Megan, it's like kind of weird and out of the normal. So the reason why I wanted to talk about this today is because I feel like a lot of times, especially when it comes to athletes, and like I see them pop out with their significant other, I am never surprised when I see it's a white woman. I'm actually surprised when it's a black female. Like, and I'm not even talking about like ambiguous black person. I'm talking about like a dark skin or like a brown skin black woman. I am very stunned, right? So when I see that type of interview, when she messed up the name, listen, Shayla and I'll tell you, we come from immigrant parents. We mess up names all the time.
Yes.
And don't get me, I mess up the simplest words sometimes, but I let that slide. I say, all right, bet, cool. But if she's like, the co-host ended up saying like, you know, I'm just so confused because usually like, you know, you dated him and then other people he's dated usually look like you. Why does that even matter? If y'all are broken up and you see that he's moved on, regardless if you were his type and he is moving on, what does that matter to you? He's not with you no more. Why is that even a point to point out? And it's like, to me, I feel like we all have this a natural like understanding that we always see these not always, but we see most athletes in the NBA, in the NFL, all with white women. And so when they, and I feel like white women are aware of that too. So when they do see that, they have no help, no other notion but to question what about her is better than me kind of vibe. Like that's what the conversation was given to me in my eyes. Shayla, what you think?
Yeah, so I have a different outlook, or I interpreted this differently.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, I always mispronounce names. That's why, like, when I do say names, I literally start off the podcast or the sentence by saying, I am so sorry if I mispronounce the name. So I can see a situation in which you are nervous, like, oh my God, I can't believe she's asking me about this. And like you just mispronounce names. I believe that, of course, she knows who Meg Thee Stallion is, not just because of the big artist that she is, but we're girls at the end of the day. I want to know who you're dating now, point blank period. I don't care if it ended in a bad terms. You are going to keep up with who that ex is, especially, I mean, not the ex, who this new girl is, especially if she's such an A-list celebrity. So I do think she did know how to pronounce the name. I do believe her in the fact that she said that she was nervous and she mispronounced the name. Number two, I think her friend did set her up, or the other girl, because she was like, why would the other friend even say that? Like, the friend was the one that was like, oh, I was surprised because da 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 da. And then she was the other girl was just like, and by the other girl, I mean, what's her name? Julia? What's her name?
I think
Look at me messing up right now. Olivia.
And you know what's crazy? I'm not even trying to be shady right now. One of the girls is actually like real popular. Her name is like Lena. Girl, y'all about to come for me.
You see, but let me just finish my point. I think Olivia did not intentionally mispronounce the name. As someone that mispronounces names, I can see it. I think her co-host was the one that set her up for failure by saying, oh, I was so surprised because she's so different. And of course, if I'm the person, I am going to agree with it. Yes, Megan is very different than the other girls that he has previously dated. Like, that is a fact. I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh no, they actually look like me, when it's very obvious that Megan is not Olivia, or clearly the other girls that he has dated. So that's that on that. And to the point of like athletes dating white women, I agree. Yes, the majority of them are white, but I don't think that they are the reasons why they're doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think men as a whole are more, I think maybe white women are more like, they allow more things, like their personalities, whatever. Maybe that's the thing, but I also don't know. They also probably just go to these affluent schools that probably is just a higher white population, and they just, as life goes on, they just end up with the white people. I don't know, but I am pro minority relationships.
And so to that point, so one thing I remember, like I saw, like, I don't know I think this was like years ago, but they were saying how like a lot of like athletes are like promoted to more go towards white women because I guess like they're deemed more socially acceptable, or like in those spaces they know how to act better, or like they just cater to men differently.
We know how to act.
I'm not saying that's true, because I think, and if you put me in various spaces, I know how to act. I know how to read the room, but that's just me.
Yeah.
I do agree with you. I do feel like her friend did set her up. And I just feel like, I don't know, maybe this is me, but I feel like when people try to set me up in that type of way, like to like navigate me to saying something, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna dead that. We're not talking about that. Like, there's even times where Shayla and I'd be like, all right.
Right. But I feel like, again, hindsight is 2020. So like now looking back at it, you're like, oh, I would have done this. I would have done this. But one thing about me, I'm very quick to clock somebody when they're wrong. But in this situation, I feel like from that clip, I didn't see enough to be like, oh, she's a racist. She's just stating, yes, his exes looked a certain way. different than Megan, and that is a fact.
And I'm not saying she's a racist.
No, but I'm saying there was comments saying that, calling her racist because of that.
I just think that with this like idea of like Black athletes, white women, they are aware of that. Mm-hmm. So that's why I feel like her co-host made sure to like point that out. Like, you know, you're usually his type, but he's dating Meg. Like, how do you even feel about that? Like, what do you mean how she feel about that? That's her ex.
Right. So if anything, they should be clocking the host of the show, not the thing. But again, to each their own. Let's move on to lighter topics as we enter our social corner.
Yes. So welcome to our social corner. And if you are a reoccurring subscriber and viewer, then you know what this is. But for our new subscribers and viewers, this is where we talk about topics that we don't really want to spend like 10-20 minutes talking about. We just want to, you know, give our quick takes, move on to the next topic. So Shayla, what's our first topic?
So yes, we've talked about this in prior episodes, but Drake has officially filed a lawsuit against Universal Music Group. If you're new here, he had initially, dang, you see what I'm saying? That's why I sided with Olivia, because I be eating up these words. He had initially filed a petition to like gather facts and see if he even had a case. And I guess he thought that, yes, I have a case. So now he officially is suing Universal Music Group. And he's alleging the same thing, that he's alleging that Universal Music Group is hyping up Not Like Us. And it says like, Drake is alleging UMG published and promoted Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us song, despite it including what he claims is false pedophilia allegations, and that the song supposedly suggested listeners should resort to vigilante justice. Kendrick Lamar is not mentioned in the lawsuit, so this is clearly like just strictly for the music company. UMG disputed that, and they said, not only are these claims untrue, but the notion that we would seek to harm the reputation of any artist, let alone Drake, is illogical. The company said, we have invested massively in his music, and our employees around the world have worked tirelessly for many years to help him achieve historic commercials and personal financial success. So the moral of this is that I feel like Drake should have known, why start something that you can't finish? That's really my thing. Like, there's a lot of people that claim to act big and bad, like we from the streets and boom, 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 boom. But if you know you're really not a part of the streets, then it's like you should have never started. You should have never started something that you could not finish. I think it's actually weird. I think he's also included in the lawsuit how like, oh, that UMG used their resources to make sure or push that Kendrick Lamar sings the song Not Like Us during the Super Bowl halftime show. And I'm like, how many times has Drake come for people in his songs? A lot. So it's like, now that you're mad that Kendrick said his piece. Like, I don't think no one saw that line of like, oh, he's a pedophile, and was like, okay, maybe some people were like, oh, is he a pedophile? But I don't think anyone like, I don't know. I just think it's a bit weird. I do want to mention that in the lawsuit, he said that because of this song, there was a shooting. The results the suit says was intruders shooting a security guard and 2 attempted break-ins at Drake's Toronto home, online hate and harassment, a hit to his reputation, and a decrease in his brand's value before his contract renegotiations with UMG this year. I know that Universal Music Group is like, we're not working with you again. I wouldn't.
So with this, every time I think about Drake in this lawsuit, the words that come to mind is coward, punk, and not about this life, right? So I don't know what Drake expects. And like, I'm going to preface this by saying I'm not going to stop listening to Drake because of this lawsuit. I just don't take you seriously with nothing. Like, the next time Drake, and I know what's going to happen, the next time Drake gets into rap beef with somebody, I'm not even going to pay attention to it, because it's like, you are a coward. You're a coward. You're a coward. It's like, just acknowledge the fact that somebody got the upper hand on you and go about your day. He's talking, and you mentioned the fact that he's saying that they're trying to promote the fact that Kendrick's gonna sing like basically Do Not Like Us at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And it's just like, at the Super Bowl, most artists who perform do their top songs. And to sit there and not act like Not Like Us is not a top song is crazy.
Yeah, so we wish him the best of luck with that lawsuit. I personally think it's not going to go too far because, like Rebecca mentioned, people still listen to Drake. I still listen to Drake, but I'm not going to lie. If he ever gets into beef, I'm not going to take him serious because it's giving extreme sore loser. But again, that's neither here nor there.
It's being white woman scared.
I am super excited to watch this movie. It's called One of Them, and it features, as you guys can see from the poster, KeKe Palmer and SZA, and the movie is also produced by Issa Rae. I cannot wait to watch this. It drops today in theaters, and it's a comedy. I'll read you guys a little bit of a summary. It says, best friends and roommates Drox, here I am mispronouncing names, and Alyssa are about to have one of them days. When they discover Alyssa's boyfriend has blown their rent money, the duo finds themselves going to extremes in a comical race against the clock to avoid eviction and keep their friendship intact. So the storyline seems super fun. I don't think I've ever seen SZA, acting in a scene. Like, she's a star. She has a star role. And I feel like KeKe Palmer's personality is super funny. She's super outgoing, and I think it complements SZA, who seems to be like a little bit more shy. Like, all we know from her really is her music, and when she does do interviews, she's a little bit like shy. So I'm super excited. I love seeing Black women succeed, and this is the time to go support, because we can't be saying that we want representations in films and movies and all of this, but then when the movie drops, no one watches, because at the end of the day, it's a business. People are not going to, drop a bag to support something that they're not going to get any return in. So this is your chance. If you say you want to see representation, go out and watch the film.
And I've been seeing, like, I feel like I saw, I believe on Rotten Tomatoes, like, the critics have given it like 100%, and it looks like it's gonna do really well. And I really like what Shayla mentioned, like, if you say you support Black people, you support Black women, you support just Black businesses, period, then make sure you go out and support this movie, because now you just chatting, and I don't like a chatter.
Yeah, it's all about money talks. I understand it's cute, send thoughts and prayers, but unfortunately we live in a day and age where if we can't see the money, then people are going to move on.
And KeKe has been on her, like, I feel like, especially in like the year, she has been on project after project after project. She is doing her big one.
She even guest hosted the Today Show with Jenna and Hoda, but Hoda has left the Today Show, so they're like just trying new hosts every morning, and she even did that. So one thing about her, good, she gonna get the coin. She gonna follow the bag. You know who she reminds me is of? Although I'm like, he not on my good side. I feel iffy about him, Shaq. Because Shaq be on everything, on all the printers, the inks, like just random stuff, because he will never say no to a bag. So on that note, I want to say...
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say thank you guys so much for watching, but it seems you want to...
I was just gonna say, like, shout out to Miss KeKe Get to a Bag Palmer. Okay.
That part, we love that. So thank you guys so much for watching this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, comment down below what your favorite part was. If you have an opinion on the topic that we discussed, let us know about it in the comments. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, all the things. Follow us on Instagram at Too Much SB. Follow us on TikTok, because I really think TikTok not gonna go nowhere. But if it does, don't worry. The follow not gonna go to waste. You'll be at it.
We might end up on Lemonade or Red Note. Who knows?
All right, we'll end up on another China app. So follow us everywhere at Too Much SB, and we'll see you guys next Friday. Bye.